All right, here's 5.4. And what we're going to do with 5.4 is what you're going to do is you are going to use this one that we did earlier today. All right. So just to let you know, we're going to use this. Just so you know what's going on. Use this, use this, use this, use this. All right. So now we said, let's click on here. So this is a continuation of yesterday. So we're going to use 5.4 student guide. So the first thing in your player coin collision handler, before you destroy the coin, set the VY of the coin to a small negative value. So what does that mean? We're going to find this one here. And we are going to set the velocity. So that means we're going to go here. We're going to set other sprite velocity to a negative value, whatever. So make it minus 10. It's right there. So let's play the game. See how it goes up. That's how the coin went up. And there it is. All right. So now that we have that, we'll move on to the next one. So we're going to double jump. So double jumping or mid-air jump. So create a new variable called number of jumps and add a set number of jumps to 0 on your start. And in your jump event handler, which should be A, add a change number of jumps to the if statement. All right, so that's what you have for this next set here. All right. So this will track the number of jumps the player has taken so far with the land. So let's highlight this so we know that we did it already. All right. So add an on-game update block to your program and add an if statement that checks the VY of 0. So on-game update. I'm going to move this guy down here out the way. All right. So on-game update. And then we are going to do an if statement, which is in logic. And then we're going to do a number. So if my sprite I did it wrong. We're talking about velocity. Then I'm going to set my number of jumps to 0. And let's format code so we can move it up here. Okay? Okay, so now that we have this, we're going to go back. It says, to make the player jump, you need to make change to the button press event handler which detects which jump can take place. In your jump event handler, change the condition which allows jumping. Make the condition check if the player's VY is 0 or number of jumps is equal to 1. Then run your game. So your event handler is here. We're going to move this guy over a little bit just to have some room. All right. So we're going to add an or statement. So we're going to pull this out for a moment. We're going to keep it. We're just going to add an or statement. All right. So we have that. And then we're going to put this back. Change this to less than or equal to, and then we're going to add another one here. Oops, sorry. Okay, so we did an event handler, change the condition, make the distance check if the player's BY is 0, and then or the number of jumps. So that's what we did. So velocity, BY is less than or equal to 0, or number of jumps is less than or equal to 1. Okay, we still keep this the same. We still keep this the same. So that is part 2. Now we're on jump on enemies. So this technique will allow you to destroy enemies by jumping on them. You do this by detecting whether player and enemy are in relation to each other when they collide. So we're going to find our event handler for player and enemy collisions. Add an if statement to your event handler, which checks if the player's Y position is less than the enemy's position. So we're talking about right here. Make sure we get this out the way. So on sprite kind of player overlap sprite kind of enemy, let's go out just a little bit so you can see. All right, so they're saying add an if statement to your handler, which checks the player's Y position is less than. So we're going to add an if statement. We're going to go above. Okay, this is going to go underneath. We don't want that right now. So then we're going to do a less than. Okay, so then we're going to do our sprite. So remember, they said we're checking if the player's Y position is less than the enemy's position. So this is our player. Okay, let's pull that back. Okay. All right, there we go. They said the Y position is less than the Y position. Okay. So we got that part. In the true branch, add code which awards points to your score or take someone's action. In the false branch, remove a life or end the game which you were doing before. And after the if statement, destroy the enemy sprite with some appropriate effect. So in here they said award points. So we're going to go to info, and we're going to change score. And do we have enemy value yet? Yes, we already have it. So we're going to change score by enemy value. And also, I think it said in the true branch, add code which will work or take some other action. In the false branch, remove life after the if statement, destroy enemy sprite with some effect. So that means we're also going to destroy the sprite. And so we're going to go to here, going to destroy other sprite. All right, so we have that for that. Oh, and I'm sorry. Go here, this goes up top. Okay, so this has to be in the false. So if this happens, we're going to do this. If not, then the game is over. Okay? All right, so see how we go? So you got to jump on top of it. You can't be, and then I died. All right, so we tested it out. So in some games, land on an enemy gives you another small jump, or it will cause it to appear. This is up to you. So now we're on number 4. We're going to change sprite kinds. The Super Mario Bros. Is when you jump on Koopa Troopa, you can destroy it but drive into a shell. If you jump on it again, it turns a projectile moving from it. Let's see that here. So in your event handler, find the true branch and create a new sprite kind projectile. You can make the image whatever you want. Then we're going to set the new projectile's position to be the same as the enemy sprite, replacing, and set to double bounce on walls. Destroy the enemy sprite immediately, no effects, no delay. So we're still sitting in enemy here. So just remember that we are still sitting in enemy. All right, so we're going to create a new projectile. We're going to set, and we're going to create a projectile. So projectile sprite. So you know what? Projectile sprite. I'm going to get a little crab. Change. Add new kind to crab. Now we're going to set projectile sprite position 2. So now we're going to get a position. And we're going to go X and Y. So we're just going to copy, duplicate here, and duplicate again. And then we're going to make it X to X, and then Y to Y. So we already have that. Now we're going to set it to bounce on the wall. All right, so it bounces on the wall. And then we're going to set it to gravity. Then it says we should be able to turn them into a stationary projectile. So from there, we're going to add one more thing. We're going to have it accelerate. And we're talking about acceleration. 2, and then we're going to find the gravity. Okay, so then you just got to try it out, see how it works. Okay, you see that? Doesn't move yet, but we're getting there. Okay, you see how it changes? So now we're going to make it move. So add an event handler to detect when the player overlaps the projectile, add an if true statement, and add an if true range. So now we're going to go to another sprite overlap. All right, so we have player, and this is the crab. Okay. Just keep a reminder, this is for the player and the crab. Okay. All right, we're going to do another if statement. All right, we're going to do less than. And we're going to copy this guy. All right, so we're going to have sprite X and other sprite Y. Get rid of that guy. Then we're going to set sprite velocity. And we're going to set it to projectile speed. All right, so we don't have that yet. So we are going to have it over here to 200. We're just going to make a variable for that now. right, so now we have that. Okay, now we're going to go to set. This guy, go to math. Set my sprite kind to enemy. So when I jump on it, you see how it moves, okay? All right, let's keep going. So we have set sprite, change the other sprite. All right, so he says you may find jumping. So now we're gonna do delay action. So we're gonna create a new variable called change projectile and set change to false to your block. So this is your flag variable, which starts a false. In your collision handler, you delete the set project enemy and you set change projectile true. All right, so we got a lot more to do. And I'm going to copy this so I don't have to do it again. Just create a new variable. I'll change projectile. All right, so we made a variable called set change projectile. Okay, so now that we have that, in collision handler for player projectile, delete the set projectile kind to enemy. So we're going to delete set projectile and add set projectile true to player projectile handler. All right. So we're going to make a copy of this. And we're going to take it over here. All right. So we are going to get rid of this. Put this down here. Underneath. And we're going to make this true. Okay. So they say this set your flag and says that we want to change the back to the enemy. So I'm going to create a comment. And then we're going to close it. This is just so we know what this is doing. Okay. So in your on-game update, add an if true block and replace with change projectile. So on-game update, add an if true block, replace true with change projectile. All right. So we're going to go back to on-game update right here. So we have if true here. And then we're going to go to change projectile. Okay. Okay, so then we're going to add another if true statement. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do this one step at a time. So this is what we're going to have to come up with, but I just put it out so you see what we got to do. So I'm going to go to logic, and I'm going to go to if else, and it's going to go right up underneath here. I'm going to go to change projectile. And then they said another if inside of there. I'm sorry, we're going to minus this here and then an else. So we have to go to a not statement if it does not overlap. So if it does not overlap, then you're going to find a sprite overlap. So if my girl does not overlap with the projectile sprite, then we're going to set projectile sprite to kind to enemy. Set projectile sprite to enemy. Okay, else we're going to set change projectile to false. All right, and we're going to get rid of this. So that's for that. Okay, now we have that done. We're going to do coyote jumps. So we're going to spend days figuring out which runner it does. So we're going to implement coyote jumps. So in the jump event handler, we're going to change the condition which allows the jumps. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to check, we're checking for here, and we're going to figure out like what number we're going to use. And we can check the number to do different things. We can start at increments of 10, we can do 5, and then we can see, you know, how the jumping changes. Jumping is not as big, whatnot. So we're gonna do 5, and we're gonna make a variable called coyote jump. And then we're gonna go here, variable. We're gonna set it to 5. All right, so now that's all we have. So we set it. Don't forget to do the final check, and that's what we have. So make sure you have all of this stuff. This is our final. Make sure you hit format code. Make sure that you have, make sure that all of your functions are open. Make sure that none of your functions are touching each other. No code is touching each other. Make sure nothing is touching, okay? This way everything's working. I'm going to put this up here so I can see better. But this is everything you should have for your code. Okay, let me format one more time, and there it is. This is everything you need. We're done. So don't forget to share and paste it inside here. And that's it.